Hi, everyone. Okay, so we are learning to bring our attention to our present moment experiences, right? Because this skill helps us when life throws challenges at us and makes our thoughts race and it's hard to pay attention and focus and hard to feel good, right? By practicing mindfulness, we get a stronger attention muscle, and not so that we can stop those thoughts, but so that we can move our attention to places that make us feel better, so that we have agency, control over where our attention goes, so that we can use it to our benefit. Okay, along with the sensations of gravity and breath and the sounds and the contact points and all the things that we've been practicing, we can also bring our attention to positive states. So those are states like compassion, gratitude, generosity, forgiveness, kindness. And we did a little bit of that. Remember when we did the soaking in the good, when we talked about the negativity bias, we brought to mind something that made us feel good, something we did, or a person or an animal, an event that was coming up. And we noticed if it made us feel good inside, whatever that was, and that we could feel those sensations of goodness and brought our attention to that good feeling, right? Do you remember that? Okay, so, but these states of kindness and gratitude and all that, we can cultivate them, right? Because our negativity bias makes us not really think about them at all, right? So that garden kind of gets low, and we need to tend to it. So we're going to talk about that today. Let me just share my screen here. So the seeds of these positive emotions, like forgiveness, compassion, generosity, and there's more, the good feelings, the good states, they're already planted. We feel them. We know what they feel like, right? But we need to cultivate them. Again, like I said, because the negativity bias keeps us on the negative emotions, right? Focusing on that. And so that these just come fewer and farther in between, right? So we want to be able to cultivate them so they grow big, so that they actually become our default mode, so that we don't go automatically to worry. Maybe we go automatically to gratitude, or we don't go automatically to anger. Maybe we go automatically to compassion, right? So now, wouldn't it be cool if emotions or states of being like happiness, gratitude, all that were like apps that we could open and close on our phone? So like you're laying in bed at night worrying about the math exam, right? And the mind is spinning, and you go, you know what? I'm just going to close that app, right? And then I'm going to open up my gratitude app. And then all of a sudden you feel grateful that you have, a house and some food and all that kind of stuff, right? So, is that possible though? Can we do that? Well, in a sense, but it takes some things. What we have to do in order to cultivate those positive emotion apps, right, is we have to have them downloaded. So meaning that the kindness, the generosity, the forgiveness, we have to know what they feel like. So we know that, like I said, the seeds have already been planted, but we want to make sure that when we feel them, we really know the depth of the sensation of generosity, what that feels like, right? So we take time to notice them. And then we also need to know where and how to access them, right? You want to do this often so you can find them more frequently. So let me just to talk to this point about doing it more often in order to find it more easily. But we'll do this by an experiment. So I'm going to ask you to just close your eyes for a minute and bring your attention to the insides of your palms. And just notice any sensation there. Warm, cold, tingly, moist. Okay, so now bring your attention down to your feet. Notice it's the same kind of sensations. Temperature or moisture, etc. What do you notice there? Okay, great. So you can open your eyes now. So no big deal, right? We just moved our attention from our hands to our feet. But check it out. In a way, that's like the app thing. That's like you close the hands app and then you open the feet app. So in a sense, we can move our attention as quickly as that when we know how. But now I'm going to ask you to bring your attention to your spleen. And a spleen is an organ in your body. So my guess is it's harder to find your spleen, to bring your attention to your spleen, right? So when I ask in the classroom, what makes it harder? The two answers that I get mostly is that I don't know where my spleen is, which makes sense. I kind of don't know where my spleen is too. And then it runs in the background. There's no sensation, right? So this is true, but the most important thing is the reason why we were able to bring our attention to our hands and our feet is because we use them all the time. We're familiar with them. It's as if these hands and feet apps are on the front of our phone, in that most important part down, the 4 bottom apps that they give you, the ones that you want to know where they are right away. So we use them so often that the hands and feet are easy to get to. That's how we want the gratitudes and the compassions and the kindness. We want them up front on our phone, on our emotional phone, right? And as a matter of fact, it proved this point even more. One time a student in a classroom said she had trouble with her spleen. So she knew exactly where her spleen was. So that points out that when you have to bring your attention to something more often, then you know where it is. So let's have our attention be brought to these positive states, right? Because that way, then your phone doesn't look like this. Like this could be your phone right now, your emotional phone, right? The default apps are the angers and the fear of the math and the worries and the, feeling crappy and the tumultuous, tornado and that kind of thing, right? I mean, I know that for myself, that something happened and I just go straight to worry because that's the one I'm used to pressing all the time and the one that opens up. But if we cultivate those positive states by noticing them more often, bringing them to our attention, noticing the sensations in our body, doing it often, then our phone can look like this. Right? Whereas sure, you still have anger. It's not like you got rid of everything. You still have a little bit of worry and that kind of stuff, but you're more easily confined the compassions, the gratitude, the positive states of being so that you can feel better. Again, you have more agency. This is what mindfulness does for you. When you practice bringing your attention to things that help you, then when you need it, you can bring your attention there. Okay. Okay. So let me escape out of this. And so what we're going to do is a practice called sending good wishes. I call it that. I don't really know what it is. It's a compassion practice. So we're actually going to scroll through and find our compassion app, right? And bring it over to the front of our phone by doing this practice. And I want to tell you, the practice is fairly simple. We just notice someone, we think of someone we care about, and then we send them good wishes, right? But here's some of the brain science of this, how they know that this actually works in your brain. It's not just something you do. It actually changes your brain. Is that they found out by putting people in scanners and then showing them pictures of people suffering, that when we as humans see people suffering, we suffer. The part of the brain that lights up, we have mirror neurons. So when we see people suffering, we suffer. The part of our brain looks as if we're suffering. So we see pictures, and you know this when you watch movies and somebody's sad and you start crying, right? So we see suffering. we suffer. So then they worried about, well, what about all these people on the front lines, like the social workers and the healthcare workers and the firemen and the people that are helping, all these populations that are suffering really bad. It stands to reason that their emotional apps have all the pain because that's being activated all the time, right? So they're feeling pretty bad. So what they did is they took a person who's really adept at this practice we're going to do, the sending good wishes practice. And when they showed him the pictures of the people suffering while he was in the brain scan, he did this practice that we're going to do, sent them good wishes. It turns out that what they saw in his brain is that the part of the brain that lit up was the compassion part, right? It wasn't the suffering part. So he actually had a way of, because of this practice, because of bringing his attention to compassion, to the act of compassion, that instead of suffering with the people, he felt for them and he felt better, and then he could help them. And again, they use this for those frontline workers, because those frontline workers are seeing pain and suffering all day long, and they can get burned out really quick. We're not supposed to see that all the time, right? So these practices, especially the one we do, have basis in science of how it changes your brain, lights up different parts of your brain, so that when you are feeling bad, suffering, worried, whatever, if you bring your attention somewhere else, it changes what lights up in your brain, and therefore changes how you feel. Changes your life because you feel better more often, grateful more often, compassionate more often, right? Okay. So why? Okay. I thought it wasn't recording, but never mind. Okay. So let's begin. Let's do a practice. Let's bring that app of compassion to the front of our emotional phone. All right, so I'm just going to let you get into the posture that you prefer. If it's the real comfortable one, go ahead. Or if it's the upright but alert, go ahead. And you let your eyes close or be a low gaze. I'll allow some time for a couple deep breaths if that's your thing. And as you take the deep breaths, just noticing any settling as you exhale. And now if you can begin to feel, bring your attention to the contact points of your body to the chair. Noticing, where your butt hits the seat or where your feet hit the floor, what your hands are touching, your back against the seat. And as your body settles, if that's happening, just notice the sensation of your whole body sitting. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to bring to mind a person or an animal that really brings you joy, that makes you smile, makes you happy. So hopefully it's someone you see fairly frequently, because you want to have a good image of them. But if someone in the past that you have a strong image, go ahead and use that. And as you bring them to mind, try to see their face, see their image in your mind. And notice them maybe doing something they like, or that they're feeling happy. Maybe they're smiling. Maybe it's an animal, they're purring or wagging their tail. And just notice what it feels like to see their image. Notice anything in your body, any sensations. If you can't pick someone, if this is difficult for you, let that be okay. Just pick anyone. Maybe, the counter person at your local store or your mail carrier. Just someone that you see that you are friendly with, if you can't find the really good feeling person. Okay, so now what we're going to do is send some wishes to these people, this image, this being. And I'm going to offer up 3 wishes for you. And if you don't like them, please pick some of your own. I would say no more than 3. And what we're going to do is just keep noticing this person and sending the wishes. So these are my offerings to you. And you can pick the ones you like, as I said. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. So you're seeing this person, this animal, and you're really wishing for them. Do it from the bottom of your heart. Send this wish. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. And like I said, if you have something, if you know this person is trying to get a job or something, may you get that job. May you get that job. And see if you can communicate with them. You're watching them. Maybe they're hearing you. Send this wish. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. They're receiving it. And notice in your body what that feels like. What's going on? And just continue the practice. May you be healthy. Continue with the phrases. And a couple things. One is that if you get off track and start thinking, we know that that's not a problem, right? So, I lost track. You just bring that image back. Notice that person. You take a moment to bring that image back. Notice that person, and then start with the phrases again. The other thing is if you're having trouble with this in any way, whether it's finding somebody or you're not feeling some great feelings or something like that, that's really okay, right? Because it could be that you haven't downloaded this app in a long time or ran it and you didn't put in your password and it doesn't know a lot of things, right? You got a new phone, but it's an old app, right? So it's okay if it's clunky right now. It really is. We're just going to try it right now. We're going to turn it on, open it up. Here's the compassion app. May you be healthy. Think of somebody, say the phrases, and then notice how it is. Oh, this is kind of clunky. Yeah, it's really okay. Or maybe you're noticing some deep feelings of connection and compassion, and that's great too. Just soak those in. So let's do that just for a few more minutes. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. Okay, now, so I'm going to ask you to let that image fade. Say bye. It's fun to see you. And notice the sensations of your whole body sitting. Noticing the sounds in the room. Noticing your contact points. Okay, so welcome back. Take a look around, open your eyes, stretch if you like. Okay, so I want to tell you a little story about this. The point being that, remember, when you bring your attention to these positive states in a way that's mindful, so that you're feeling the sensations and you do it often, you're allowing that emotion to be more your default, and you will access it easier and turn it on easier and feel it easier when you're in stress. Yeah. So I was on the Bay Bridge in the 1989 earthquake. Well, I was just getting on to I was at the toll plaza. So you can imagine, I've told you about my anxiety, my extreme anxiety. You can imagine what it was like for me riding over that bridge after that, right? It was terrifying, right? So there was this one time where I was on the underside. So, in the second part of it, where this is the old bridge. So there was 2 levels. So I was on the bottom level, so the top could fall on you. And I don't know if you know, like on bridges, when you're stopped in traffic, sometimes they sway. So I was stopped in traffic and the bridge was swaying a little bit. And I noticed, oh man, I'm going to have a panic attack. Like it was coming. I got so scared and I was thinking about the earthquake and oh my gosh. And I just couldn't stop. And I said, you know what? Turn off that app as possible. Couldn't even turn off that app fast. And I said, we're going to turn on this app, this kindness app. So I looked at the person next to me in the car, the face, and I said to myself, well, first I settled myself in the seat of the car. I said, okay, I feel my body. I feel my butt on the chair. I feel my hands on the steering wheel. I feel them. Yeah. Bring your attention to the sensations. Then I said, to the person next to me, he didn't know I was talking to him. I wished him, may you be safe, may you be healthy, may you be happy, whatever 3 wishes, right? And I really tried to focus like that. I really want that for him. Then I'd go to the next car and look at the person and may you be healthy, may you be happy, may you be safe, and the next car and the car in front of me and in my rearview mirror, I would try to get their face so that I could literally be sending them the messages from my heart. In about 3-4 minutes, I forgot that I was on the bridge in that shaky, traffic jam. I started to feel so happy. The traffic started moving slower. I was wishing everybody good wishes. By the time I got off the bridge, I was just happy, so happy, filled, more happy than I would have been had that not started. So the point being that it's very possible, if you cultivate these states of compassion, kindness, gratitude's really important. I do a class on gratitude, but we didn't have the time this time. But you cultivate these states so that you can bring your attention to them more often, cultivate them often so that you have more access, so that they're at the front of your phone, so you can turn on those apps when you need them. Yeah. Okay. So I hope that all made sense, and have a good week. May you all be healthy, happy, and safe. Okay. See you next time.